Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Stars and Stripes Cup Series here tonight, Thursday night racing on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, race number 2 of the season. We head to the Irish Hills to Michigan for the Irish Hills 200. We're excited to see how the driver's going to react with drafting. Once again, they did it at Daytona last week. They're going to try to see if they can conquer and who could possibly get a win here tonight. Get a lot of fast drivers, and we're excited to all watch them. Before we get to more racing action, big thanks to all of our amazing sponsors throughout, and also do want to give credit to everyone that's here. Exciting, can't believe it, the new year right around the corner, and big things to be seen here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Big races as well. We got the 6-hour event that we will be talking more about later on here tonight. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, and Zach, we're going to Michigan, and this is going to be a 2-mile pack racing all night long for 100 laps. I mean, well, I'm excited for it. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, I'm nervous for these drivers, Sam. I'm putting myself in their shoes right now. This is a nervous time for them. You know, we're nearing that qualifying point. Qualifying is going to be important, but we're going to see a lot of pack racing, a lot of side-by-side action where you're not going to be able to get away from your competition. And I think that's going to be the kind of the big story throughout the whole entire season is this change to the Cup car. We've seen a lot of parity last season with a lot of drivers getting wins. We had 6 drivers hit victory lane last season in the Xfinity car. I think that number is going to personally up with this car. I think it's going to bring some new drivers out that maybe didn't get those victories last season, and I think it'll spread them throughout the field. We've seen Ken Campbell break into victory lane last week at Daytona. Could we see a new winner here this week? I think we possibly could.
Yeah, and Ken Campbell got a lot of help from that of Christopher Wade, and we're wondering how teamwork is going to be working here tonight. Zach, we've seen Michigan being shown here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting with these Cup cars Saturday nights for the NAISCC Track Racer Cup Series. Had a fantastic race there. We saw Tom Sinchek get the win. Expecting very similar racing here as well. A lot of pack racing, but drivers are going to have to find some allies and friends if they're even going to be able to make these passes with the aero package that we're going to be having here tonight.
Yeah, you definitely are completely right about that, Sam. You need the help to get passes done, especially, you know, when you're out in the lead and you have the help behind you, you know, someone that's not going to go, you know, make a move on you or try to make a position up. You actually have a lot of confidence as a driver to be able to hold the lead here, even with this pack style racing out front. But as soon as you get 2 teammates behind, you will see that leader really be a sit and duck where 2 drivers can hook up together and push by them on the bottom. That's how we're going to have to see passes made. Most of that high line is what's going to be fought for when it's single car passes, but it's going to be all over the place for sure here at Michigan. It's a tough one, man. You're on top of your competition at all times here, so drivers are definitely going to have to keep their heads in cool temperatures.
Yeah, as we see practice slowly coming to a close, we're also watching the 93 here of Mark Beverly, and I gotta say, we're used to seeing drivers aiming to be around the inside, maybe a lane or 2 off of that yellow line. We're seeing Beverly driving on the higher groove, which we're gonna be seeing a lot of throughout the night where drivers want to be placing themselves as practice is coming to a close. Qualifying now, about to be put up, and Zach, you noted on it, it's gonna be very important to get a good run here for qualifying.
Yeah, it really helps being able to start out front here early in the going here at Michigan. You know, we talked about how dangerous it is in the pack. I mean, the farther you get back, the more turbulent the air gets, the worse your car drives also. And with a gigantic pack like we got here, packing more than 30 cars in here at Michigan, you're going to want to start at least in that top 10 to give your shot a chance to get up into that cleaner air, to let your car drive a little better, and maybe have a little bit better chance of deciding your own fate. Whereas back in the pack, it's kind of going to be choose which lane goes, and if you pick the wrong one, you're going backwards.
Also, another interesting factor for us to be noting on, this is new to this season, but the drivers are only going to be having fast repairs for the plate tracks and also going to be at that of the road courses. So for these drivers, they're going to have to see how well they're going to be reacting. But for us, we're going to step aside for a quick moment. When we come back, more racing action here at Michigan for the Stars and Stripes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient with us. We are back to this race. We had to step aside for a quick second. Qualifying is done. Drivers are gritting up currently and topping the board. Once again, 2 weeks in a row, it's going to be that of Chris Essery, going to be top of the board for the pole position for the 10. Our Daytona winner from last week, Ken Campbell, going to be getting second place. Mark Beverly in third. Scott Rickard's going to be getting that of fourth place. With that of Trey Jackson, going to get fifth. Nick Collins going to get sixth. Seventh goes to Dylan Grimm, with that of Cameron Sarton going to be getting an eighth place, with Kyle McCoy in ninth. And 10th, it's going to be that of John Dart. Over to you, Zach.
In the 11th position, it's going to be Cole Sicketti in the 29 machine. 12th is going to go to Hoss Beverly. 13th is going to go to Nate Lynch. 14th is going to be Jason Gratton. Gratton, sorry about that. 15th is going to go to Travis Dart. 16th is going to go to Andrew Medlin. 17th is Kyle Bowling. 18th is going to go to Dylan Glass. 19th is Brian Burchett in the 33. And rounding out that top 20 is John Shalano.
Then in 21st, it's going to be that of Brian Lynch with Timmy McNally, Steven Anderson with Aaron Hale, Mike Lynch, Derek Offerman, that of Brian Chu, Chris Wade, Gregor, that of George Kovacic, Doug Pierce, and Rob Jett. Going to be your 31 drivers that hit the course, while Bill Hills is going to be in 32nd, potentially could be starting on pit road, with that of Randy Cornwell, going to be our race controller of the evening. As drivers are rolling on, Zach, we missed qualifying, but big surprise up front. It's going to be that of Chris Essery topping the board, and we were talking about it while we were getting things reset. These drivers that maybe weren't showing strong last season while we were running the Xfinity car, and they're showing some strengths here early on in this season.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to mark this 10 up as one to watch for as a newcomer here. He is looking very, very strong so far to start off this season. Pole position at Daytona. Ran up front for a long time. Looks like he's going to start up front here also tonight, but you can't look too far. Ken Campbell taking some of that momentum from Daytona. You know, we talked about this track being somewhat like a plate racing track where it's going to be pack racing, right? Everybody on top of each other stacked up. Well, Ken Campbell mastered that. Looking for his dancing partner. It's a pretty far back position back to Christopher Wade back in 28th, but we'll see if they can get hooked up at some point here.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Christopher Wade having an off qualifying time, but we've seen this with some of the drivers that we're used to seeing up front in the top 10, top 15. They might have an off qualifying, but once that green flag waves, they really start to change things up. But up front, once again, it's Chris Essery, Ken Campbell, Mark Beverly, Scott Rickard, and that of Trey Jackson. Going to be your top 5, getting ready to go green. 100 laps, no fast repair, and 3 sets of tires in pit road. You see Barney the Flag Man, he's already got that arm ready. Pace cars pulling off, and for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series race number 2, the Irish Hills 200 is green as they take off. It's going to be Chris Essery trying to get a good launch, but here, Zach, it's going to be into turn number 1, where we might be seeing some drivers already trying to slash and dash and get ready for that backstretch.
High side moving quickly here down into 1. Ken Campbell would have easily take the lead here, but that's with the big help of the 05 of Scott Rickard, who started in 4th. Those two going to look to close it out here and be in the top 2 positions as our pole setter, Chris Essery, gets swallowed up by the pack.
That's one thing that we're going to be having to see, is will Chris Essery be able to rebound and start moving forward. But right now, front 4 are going to be in line. That of Campbell, Rickard, Holland, and as well that of Sarton all going to be in line side by side. Is Beverly and Essery and the rest of the field trying to figure out where they want to place themselves. But Ken Campbell feeling up front, comfortable, and confident. But Zach, we noted on it, the draft going to be so important, and for Ken Campbell, he honestly could just ride up front, and it's pretty difficult for anyone to really pass the 15 where he lies, and everyone being back up to speed.
Yeah, if you're going to get a pass done personally up front, the best time to do it is now. With the new tires, they are somewhat the easiest time to pass here. So we'll see if Scott Rickard can set some up. We'll see if he can get to the outside of this 15 machine. That's where he's probably most likely going to be looking to get it done. It's here coming off of 4. He does have a slight run, but you know, right here, there's no reason to be too aggressive. You're not going to get away. So I think the smartest thing to do, ride this draft. You know, just take your chances when you you can make that pass. You never want to be a sitting duck on that inside line.
2 laps down, start of lap number 3, and right now still Ken Campbell up front. And again, this is 100 laps, 200 miles these drivers are running at this 2-mile course. So there is still a lot of time to be ran, and patience is certainly going to be there. These drivers are running with a 90% fuel load, so fuel stop, there will have to be at least 1 to 2 stops being made here tonight. So drivers got to be prepared on when they want to be making that stop for themselves.
Little big moves being made here off of 4. A little bit of Dyson back and forth here as we look to the outside with the 13 of Cameron Sarton here in the 13 machine. He started up 8th. He's already working his way up to 4th on the outside here, and Taylor looking strong so far in that 13 machine.
Yeah, and right now Sarton's going to be trying to work the outside line, and he's going to have that drafting help, which is going to be leaving that of Nick Collins stuck on the inside as we ride on board with that of Sarton. Get a little point of view as the backstretch is so long that sometimes these drivers have to make sure that they stay in line and don't lose anything, as now we move to the back bumper of Nick Holland, and seeing the side-by-side racing behind him, you got Beverly and Kyle McCoy. Kyle McCoy, our Season 1 and Season 3 champion, trying to go for trying to get his 3rd championship here in season number 4. As you see the 7 just rolling and staying behind. Still going to be 2x2, 2 rows deep. And right now, all the drivers trying to pick and choose, make the passes that they can currently because of how difficult it's going to be later on. This is super speedway racing with that of tire wear factors, and that's why with it being no plate tracks, that means there's going to be no fast repair, which is there were fast repairs last season, and with the fact that we're going to be seeing some of these drivers having to deal with tracks where there is no fast repair, you've got to be very careful on where you place yourself.
Yeah, especially this track. We talk about getting damage here. You know, not only getting taken out in the race here, as a lot of times happens. As we look back at Andrew Medlin, it can a lot of times happen too, where you just get a little bit of damage that you can never get fully fixed in this race, that you'll never be back up truly to full performance. So right here, you're going to want to stay clean earlier, and without that fast repair, you got to have that in your back of your mind that every minute you could be knocked out of this race. I personally am a big fan of it. I think it's going to create some pretty cool racing and some pretty cool storylines where guys get taken out early, possibly.
Yeah, potentially, or everyone's going to be in the right mindset of, hey, let's not get too reckless early on. We'll make all of our big moves in those final 5 to 15 laps. Or like Michigan usually turns into, who will have the best fuel strategy real advantage here to get a win? Because if we stay green, Michigan, Kansas, think of Chicagoland, those tracks usually bring out some of the best fuel strategies races for these drivers. But there is a big cluster of drivers slow, and there's our first yellow of the day. It's wrecking in the back. Bill Hale, as well as that of George Kovacic, and also Derek Offerman, all involved in this one.
Oh, big, heavy collision down there in turn 1 and 2. It looks like it all started between the 65 and that 20 machine down there. As we'll head back to the Freaky Fast replay and see exactly how it all transpired. As you're watching Derek Offerman, he's in that 20 Home Depot machine along with the 65 there. George Kovacic on the bottom, trying to follow through. You try to stay in this draft, but the 20 comes down the racetrack. The 65 kind of coming up. Both of them going for the same position, and you can see that equates to some tough luck. Even Bill Heller, man, heavy collision for that 65, and the 20, his front end's gone. That's what we're talking about, fast repair, Sam. They definitely don't got one of those, so they're in trouble.
Yeah, they are in extreme trouble currently. Offerman still doesn't have a front bumper, but it's still going to stay out there on track. Kovacic's going to come into pit road, but Bill Hale's engine is blown up, had to take a tow to pit road, and most likely that's going to take anything from 15 to 30 minutes to get repairs done. It's going to be putting him multiple laps down, and I gotta say, it's shocking to see some of these drivers that are going to be involved in this wreck, but now is the chance for some of these drivers to think, do you come into pit road potentially for tires? I know we only ran that of 7 laps of green flag racing, but they've got 3 sets in pit road to potentially think about.
Well, this is definitely a interesting decision. You know, maybe even someone coming here and top off if you're farther back. You know, put a little fuel in your car, give you a little bit different maybe strategy. I know it's not going to probably play out to where you can do a different fuel cycle, but you never know. You can stay out long enough to get a caution that could, work out in your favor. But everybody looks like they're going to elect to stay out, other than about 3 cars back near the end of the field going to come down this time soon.
Yeah, those drivers coming into pit road going to be Mike Lynch and Timmy McNally, as well as Derek Offerman going to be coming in and getting service done, as everyone else going to stay single filed out. But that caution, we saw a lot of wrecks involving that of Kovacic a lot, and doing a lot of bump drafting there. It just seemed like 2 drivers wanting the same spot on the track, and not a lot of given there for the drivers that maybe should have been giving each other a little bit more room.
Yeah, definitely. Farther back, it's so tough because every position you try to make here, you feel like a lot of times you just give up positions by trying to make positions, and it's better just to wait and be patient. And back there, a lot of guys are trying to make up spots. They slide back 2 as they try to take 1. It gets kind of frustrating. You start giving less room, And early in the go, we already see contact back there, but that's something you definitely don't want to see without a fast repair. You got to be careful and be giving room to your competition at all times here.
Well, first caution, we noted on it, no fast repairs, and that means we're going to be seeing early exits if you're involved in wrecks. And our first 2 DNFs going to be that of George Kovacic as well as Bill Hales, both going to be calling it a night for themselves, and we'll wait and see if the 20 of Derek Offerman wants to be joining them in the garage. But up front, it's going to be that of Ken Campbell, Scott Rickard, as well as that of Sarden, SRE, and Hill going to be your top 5. Mark Beverly going to be in 6th. Kyle McCoy, that of Sicketti, as well as Grimm and Jackson going to be finishing out your top 10. These drivers are about to get reset, stacked up, and getting ready to go this time by. Zach, I know we only got to see 7 laps there, but was there anything that you were seeing that maybe kind of shocked you, or was there pretty much how you were expecting this early portion of this race to go?
It is kind of how I expected it to go with the way we've seen the race in there. Everybody trying to get to the outer groove, trying to stay up there, be patient, not try to make moves up front to push yourself back. I got to give a good credit there to Scott Rickard. He could have got aggressive there multiple times, but it could have pushed him farther back. Same with Chris Estre. He lost a few positions on the start there, but he regained, got to that outside line, got back up to 4th. So right now, just really a big credit to these guys on being patient up front. Maybe we'll see the rest of the field here pick up their aggression as this race goes on. So we'll have to be watching for that, as the racing is definitely going to be close and very, very at times aggressive, trying to get into those lanes that you try to fill those holes.
Oh, absolutely. And it's still the early portions of season 4, but we look back to season 3. This 12 of Andrew Medlin was a driver that was consistently up front, but never got the win off of his back. Right now, Andrew Medlin hoping to get a win as we ride on board. You see on the top left, that's going to be the camera that Medlin is seeing, and it's Medlin going to be on our bottom right that we get to see, and it's awesome to see here. Big thanks to that of Robert Moyer, our producer, for getting all the new graphics, getting this picture of being able to see what the drivers see and how they're reacting while they're green here at the Irish Hills 200.
Yeah, I love this camera here shot that we got for everybody at home riding on board with him, and also get to see Andrew Medlin. One of the coolest things I got to see there from it, right before the restart, he takes a giant deep breath. I do the same thing. I know as a driver, it's always a time you're more nervous is right when you're rolling into that restart zone, and he definitely showed it there, but racing hard here back in the field.
Yeah, going to be right now, Andrew Medlin going to be in 12th place. You see the drivers on the outside trying to pick and choose. And what's great to see is I believe he's got a 3-monitor system, so he's able to see the corners of his car while he's looking around. This is such a great picture for us to see, and also trying to get back into the throttle, but making sure he doesn't get into that outside wall.
Oh, this is a great shot for us. As you can see the rest of the field up in front of them, they're dicing for positions, trying to get everything made here. But man, I tell you what, it's tough to do here in Michigan, is everybody cannot get away from each other, and that outside line seems to prevail as Ken Campbell up front, though. He's still holding on to the lead with Chris Estre. He was able to make the move for 2nd. Cameron Sargent there, able to get up to 3rd.
Biggest loser from that restart was going to be the drivers further back, as they're scattering and spinning and almost wrecking, as it's going to be Dylan Glass still holding on. He spins around, yellow is thrown, and more drivers piling in after the wreck. Oh no, our 2nd yellow quick here after this restart.
Yeah, and actually it all started with Nick Holland and Trey Jackson making a little bit of contact, and that checkup led to the rest of the field there getting involved with each other in the 42 of Dylan Glass there. So.
And, something that we harped on a lot during our Monday series for the trucks, you see the contact, Dylan Glass going to get bumped from behind, he tries to hold on. And I got to say, for a lot of these drivers, they're going to be very aggressive early on, but it's the driving afterwards, after the contact's made and after the rat cars are spinning, drivers not slowing down in time. And see Glass, nowhere to go is that of John Dart in the 66. But then after this, drivers have time to try to slow down. You see the 22 just trying to muscle his way through, gets, I believe, a little bit of contact from the 66. But this is when we start to see other drivers. I mean, Glass not holding on the brake, and 53 just cruising in, and that's going to be Chris Wade getting damage, one of our favorites. And then also late in is the Gatorade machine, just trying to finish off his own race.
Yeah, there's a little bit of some driver no-nos there. You would like to see them clean up for sure in that wreck there. but everything happens all with that checkup before, with contact between Nick Holland trying to get to the outside line. He has the 31 Trey Jackson out there. Trey Jackson actually got ran into the back of by Dylan Grimm, who's got some pretty heavy nose damage, and the same with Jason Gratton. He has got heavy nose damage from getting into the back of Dylan Glass. So a couple guys there taking damage from those checkups, and Sam, like you said, a good old arc and break every now and then here, and it happens a lot at Michigan, it seems. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I think it's also just because of how wide this course is. Drivers think that they can just, put their throttle down when they see a car spinning and just muscle their way around the incident. And sometimes you have drivers that lock down their brakes, other times they don't. And you get involved in a wreck even when when you don't have the safety net of a fast repair, you have to be thinking, I got to slow down and not be involved in this wreck. A lot of drivers involved in this second one of the day, and drivers that had to come into pit road to get their service done, just get some minor repairs for themselves. Dylan Grimm, Trey Jackson, Nick Holland all coming in, as well as that of Doug Pierce, going to be getting himself a little bit of repairs, and I believe also taking a set of tires. John Dart, Dylan Glass, and that of Robert Jett, as well as Chris Wade, all coming in to get repairs. Derek Offerman, who was involved in our first incident of the day, is back out on track and is 5 laps down.
Yeah, a lot of people already having early trouble here in the going of this 200-mile event here at the Michigan International Speedway. It's a tough track. Like I said, you can't get away from your competition. And when incidents happen, they happen in a hurry, and you just cannot seem to get out of the way. It's very similar to Daytona and Talladega with the way the pack racing is. But right now, everybody up front's been doing a great job. It's just we got to get through some more laps here. We'll see what the pace is like, but looks like they're going to get re-racked back up here with Ken Campbell still out front, really carrying that momentum from Daytona, man.
Ken Campbell, Chris SRA going to be your front row. Then row number 2 is going to be that of Sarton and Rickard. Row 3 is going to be that of Mark Beverly and Kyle McCoy, with Sakati, Madeline, Oiling, and that of Lynch going to be finishing out your top 10. We're on lap 15, going to be lap 16 when we go green once again, and we'll see if these drivers are going to calm down or if they're going to be bringing out another quick yellow here. Cautions, burning cautions. Not a normal thing that you see here at these 2-mile courses, but at the same time, everyone's trying to gain every position early on before everyone gets spread out.
Oh, no, you're exactly right about that, Sam. You would think a 2-mile circuit, oh, man, it's probably not going to be that many cautions, especially one this wide. But with the way the pack racing is, you just can't get away from your competition. It's more likely to happen here than a lot of other places. But I tell you what, some good runs being seen right now through so far. 11th place, Brian Chu from the 27th position. Also, Aaron Hell, 24th to 13th. We're seeing some big movers so far, and that's only 15 laps in. And I think that's due to a few incidents for sure.
Oh, absolutely. With that last accident being collecting about 8 drivers, it's giving a lot of positions to those that started further back, but it also shows, hey, if you're patient, keeping your car out of trouble, you've got a chance for a very high finish here tonight. And very important to make sure that you do not get yourself into any more wrecks, especially early on in this season. You want to make sure you stay consistent to make sure you make it into the playoffs. As the pace car pulls off, it's time for us to go green once again in the Irish Hills 200 at Michigan. Ken Campbell already on the loud pedal, and got to be seen if he's going to drop down instantly, as he's already clear of that of Chris Essery and Sarton.
Great push from the 13 to the 10. Ken Campbell, shout out to Ken there. He's in a great spot, but man, the 13 gains such a great push to Chris Essery here. He's going to have the inside lane, a little bit of side draft. If the 13 can help him down the back straightaway, which he's closer to Scott Rickard, it may be the chance for Chris Essery to get this lead back.
Chris Essery got the pole position, but was not able to hold that lead spot for the first lap. It went to Ken Campbell, and now side by side going to turn number 3. It's going to be that of Chris Essery trying to still hold on the inside, trying to get a good run through the center of the corner. He's going to move up. Got to be careful not to move onto the 0-5. That's where drivers are hoping not to be making any contact, but it's Ken Campbell still holding on, but Sarton still doing the best that he can do, staying right on the back bumper of the 10 of Essery and continuing to look very quick is Sarton. And it's good to see some of these newcomers that weren't here last season coming in this season and showing that they've got pace.
Yeah, definitely starting there, the newcomer for him for sure. And, you got to give a shout out to Chris Essery. He had 7 starts last season in the Xfinity cars. We actually pull up Chris Essery here to look at him in the 10 machine here in the 3rd spot. Had 7 starts last season, only 1 top 10. So this Cup car looking to suit him already in the go with 2 pole positions and running strong in both races.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the big thing. Chris Essery had a lot of pressure, thought he was going to be a driver that could perform well last season when they were in the Xfinity car. Had a lot of misfortunes early on, missed a couple of races in the middle of the season, missed out on the playoffs, and now showing very well for himself, as right now Chris Essery looking good in third place, staying right on the back bumper of the 05.
Yeah, he's able to stay right tucked up behind Scott, and luckily, he went for that position for first, but really only lost one spot there trying to do it, so that's the best bet there for your sake. But, starts in there behind him, also looking really strong. But he's under attack. Mark Beverly is getting a little bit of a look here on the outside, but the same for another driver coming up through there in the 44. That's Kyle Bowling, one of our final 4 contenders. He's broken into the top 5 for that 17th start spot.
Yeah, and we're also starting to see other drivers are going to be forcing it 3 wide potentially here. The 29 of Cole, that of Sacchetti. Sacchetti, very quick last week, was one of the strongest cars in the first quarter of the race, but then got caught with penalties coming into pit road, made a lot of major mistakes, had a very poor finish for the 29, but wanting to show some strengths here, running in the top 10, as well as we're starting to see the 44 doing well for himself with Kyle Bowling. And Bowling's been doing a good job, and we're starting to see also that of Brian Chu, another one of those drivers that thought maybe was going to have a strong season last season, didn't do so, and now we're starting to see him have a strong race here in the Cup cars, and it seems like a lot of drivers feel a lot more comfortable in these Cup machines and allowing them to perform well up front.
Sam, I personally wouldn't be surprised if we see some of the guys from the Truck Series, that perform really well in these Cup cars. I feel like they're very similar and very different to the Xfinity cars. So maybe someone like Kyle McCoy, who right now he's actually back all the way in that 12th spot right now, our season champion from last season. He may have a little bit of a learning curve here for his style here coming into the season, and maybe a few tracks will start to suit him here. But I don't know if Michigan is going to be the one, because he seemed like he was always one of the strongest drivers on the long run. This car, though, I tell you what, the pace is very hard to separate yourself when you're on the long runs.
Yeah, it looked like Kyle McCoy, though, dropped back, had a little bit of internet issues for himself, decided to get himself out of the lead pack and just drop back, give himself a little bit of space around one another. And we fall back to watching some of the drivers that are further back battling for the middle of this position. You've got the 2 of Mike Lynch, that of Haas Beverly, that of Brian Burchett, all on top of one another, and really trying to just continue staying clean right now with this second pack. They're far enough back that they might be trying to save fuel for this next pit stop. We're 22 laps now into this 100-lap race, and for a lot of these drivers, they have not come into pit road to take fuel or tires just yet.
Yeah, and really looking at the way this race will probably play out, 90% fuel load, they definitely are not going to be able to go to 50 laps, so definitely not a 1-stop. We're looking to do a 2-stop here, so really that pit road window opens up around lap 33. His man up front, Kolsketti, and that 29 is moving all around back here in the 8th position. It's getting wilder as Chris Essery, he's dropped back to the 10th position as he's fell through to this back.
They're going to just keep on trying to pick and choose where they want to place themselves, and that's what this, back half of the lead group's going to be doing. They're going to be swapping back and forth for our front, basically 5. They're just saying, hey, we'll stay in line, we'll utilize the draft. If anyone even tries to pass us, they're not going to have the draft help to do so. It's really only in the corners where the drivers are picking and choosing where they want to place themselves, as we're right on board with the 93 of Mark Beverly. And Beverly, another one of those drivers that didn't have a strong rule, that of the Xfinity campaign last season, and now having a strong early run for himself.
Yeah, this is something I think we're going to be intrigued to watch all season. It's just the difference between drivers performing in one car to the next. And right now, a few are definitely shining when it comes to that. Andrew Medlin, you can see right ahead of Mark Beverly, getting a little aggressive on the 13 of Cameron Sarts in there, trying to make a move. But, man, Kyle Bowling up to 3rd also. He's really quietly drove his way up there, trying to get 2nd now on Scott Rickard. It's been a great race so far here, Sam, but I tell you what, you don't get away. This is the one thing that is very mentally tough about this race, is you just don't get away from your competition. You always look up in the mirror, there's someone there, and you're always defending your position at every moment. Yeah,
and for a lot of these drivers that are up front, half of the field that's here was not racing with this series during season 2 when they were running that trucks series. And for a lot of these drivers, for those that are racing up front in this lead group, Scott Rickard, one of the drivers that actually won the championship for that truck season. Ken Campbell came in 9th during the truck season. So there are drivers that were strong in the truck series and showing their strength here in the Cup car. But I think another factor is here, Zach, this Cup, the way that the aero package is, the way these cars are going to be feeling, these drivers are going to stuck with it. iRacing's already notified that they will not be making any changes. So for these drivers, all the testing, all the practice they've been doing for these last couple of months, it is going to be like that for the whole entire season. So if you've been practicing a lot over the off season, you're prepared for the rest of the season and to try to go for the playoff run for some of these drivers or championship run for others.
Yeah, that's a definitely an interesting factor. Is man, the paddling has been wild here, really from first all the way back.
Oh no! Essery! Our pole sitter gets spun around, wrecking through 1 and 2. Chris Essery. And there goes, a shocking spin. But you noted on it, Zach, they were getting very aggressive in this lead group. And Chris Essery might have gotten a little bit of help from the 2 of Mike Lynch.
Yeah, definitely an interesting scenario there as we go back onto the Freaky Fast replay and see how it all played out here down into turn 1. Looks like the 2 of Mike Lynch there, and looks like they'll get pretty close. Maybe some contact made between him and the 10, and man, there goes the 10 around in to the outside wall, and just nowhere to go for Mike Lynch, who was right there behind him. Man, that is an unfortunate incident for both of those drivers right here early in the going.
We talked about the aero package and how much it could be affecting these drivers. If we take another look from the airborne blimp cam, you're going to see that there was, a wind factor, you could say, that affected these drivers. And for that of Mike Lynch, he came in very quickly into this, and it wasn't on purpose on what happened. It's just naturally one of those factors that kicks in here racing at Michigan.
Yeah, it was so wild, Sam, personally. Like you said, it could have been a little bit of a gust of a wind, maybe even just getting that close with the 2 got him that loose. I don't want to say that maybe he even knocked it out of gear, possibly. It is possible maybe he knocked it out of the gear there in the corner, but, man, the way it just jumped around like that, it definitely had to scare Chris Essery there for a few moments.
Well, it's going to be our 3rd caution of the night, and for us, we're going to be seeing drivers picking and choosing how they're going to be coming in, and it's going to be Ken Campbell coming into pit road. Nick Holland, though, deciding to stay out. Surprising to see that from the 68, but he had already pitted 14 laps ago, as well as Grimm going to be staying out, and that of Gratton, who's going to be staying out. So these drivers are all going to be picking and choosing when they're going to be coming into pit road, but those that have not pitted so far going to get 4 tires and fuel as we're 28 laps into this race.
Yeah, I feel like that pit stop was definitely well timed by these guys who just came down this time here. It's right around that window of lap 33 for it opening up for that 2 stop for these guys. But, you can go farther than 33 laps, so we should be well within a distance for a 1 stop here to the end, Sam.
And drivers are going to be racing out of pit road. Ken Campbell going to be coming out that of 5th place. So drivers going to be from 5th on back as they get back out on track. And for us, we're going to step aside for a quick moment. When we come back, more racing here at Michigan on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. we're back up front. It's going to be hard racing. That of Dylan Grimm, Nick Holland. They're going to be 3 wide for the lead. And just like that, Ken Campbell, with that help from that of Scott Rickard, up to the lead once again. My name's Sam Dyer, with me is Zach Hall, and it is hard racing on this restart. They're going to be 3 wide, almost 4 wide, almost 5 wide. Coming out of turn number 2, Zach, they're getting antsy up front after this first pit stop.
Oh, man, they're using every single lane available to them here tonight at Michigan. As you can see, Siketti there in the 29 trying to make his way up there throughout the pack with Kyle Bowling. Everybody here trying to make moves early in the going. And seeing a lot of guys getting stuck up on that top groove as the new tires are coming by. Nick Holland there, that driver that didn't pit, he's falling back. Same with Dylan Graham right above him.
Yeah, we had 5 drivers that were on older tires that are falling back and just hoping for their best, but that's going to be causing these drivers to be stacked on top of one another, which you've already seen 2 cautions be brought out because of hard racing like this. We could be seeing another caution being thrown out in a blink of an eye if they're not careful, as we ride on board and seeing how these drivers are just reacting right now. That of Nick Holland doing the best that he can, having the 11 of Chu, trying to help drafting on the front stretch, but just like that, Chu says, you know what, Chu, I'm going to use my fresher tires and just wheel himself on the outside. All these drivers on older tires, it's just a difference of 13 laps, Zach, but it is massive on track currently.
Oh, this is crazy to watch. That slingshot engaged for a few of these guys as Chu goes around the outside 3 line around Grimm. What you can just see the difference in the tire grip, and this is, going to be an interesting scenario for the guys that didn't pit there. I don't know if they went far enough from where they pitted there to make it to lap 66 to put them really in that window, to make it down to the end of the race. It's really going to depend how far they can go on a full tank. It should be possible for them, but they're going to be struggling with these tires here if we can stay green here for the rest of this event.
Well, for most of the drivers that hit it already, they also had 2 caution laps. 2 cautions to try to save fuel during those moments, as well as trying to be in the draft to save fuel that way. But we are now starting to see a 5-car pull away. It's going to be Ken Campbell, Scott Rickard, that of Sarton, Medlin, and Beverly going to be your top 5 that are just pulling away from the rest of the crew. We got Brian Chu and also Cole Siketti, and I got to say, for all the drivers that are in this second pack, they're going to do the best that they can to draft up and catch the pack of 5, but it was those old drivers on older tires that just held up this pack so much with the side drafting power, and now they are going to be having themselves 1.2 seconds gap is the difference between 5th and 6th place.
Yeah, and it's growing here too, man. I tell you what, that's a great job by the top 5 to get out there and stretch their legs here as we ride on board with Siketti here. This is going to try to help Shoot, maybe close this gap. They will have somewhat of a little bit of a toe here from this far back. They could possibly get it done. Here comes Kyle Bowling. You're going to have some strong cars here to possibly close this gap down. They're just going to stay patient and not race each other too hard, because that's what our top 5's doing. They're all in line, not racing each other, trying to make everybody go forward. Is right now Aaron Hill. He looked to make a move there as our top 5. You can see all just trying to make time here to pull away from the pack.
Yeah, and as they're pulling away, we actually have a poll in our chat. If you'd like to answer our question, asking, will Ken Campbell get a back-to-back win? He won last week at Daytona, getting his first win of the season, and now the 15 trying to get his second win and getting a lot of help currently from that of Scott Rickard and drivers behind. But we'll see who can get it done. Currently, the voting is 33% think yes, that Ken Campbell will go back-to-back on wins. 67% thinking no, he will not. And I gotta say, I'm kind of leaning towards the popular vote currently before that last restart, but now I wish I could change my vote.
Yeah, I tell you what, Campbell's making it look pretty easy here so far, I gotta say, just from a standpoint here. So, man, I gotta congratulate him for running so strong here and proving everybody wrong so far in the poll as we pull up Travis Dart in the 209 machine back here on the in-driver cam here at Freaky Fast in the 17th position, battling hard back here in the mid-pack.
Yeah, this is going to be our 3rd pack currently on track. We've got our lead top 5, then we got a group of about 10, in this then second pack, and then you see Travis Dart in the 209 in this 3rd that are trying to stay in line, but, Dart's saying, you know what, I want to be one of the front runners, let me go. And Zach, well, drivers on iRacing, some drivers just feel like they need to lean, and for some psychologically it can help them. I know even real life drivers that they lean a little bit more, even if that's not helping them in real life. But man, it's awesome to see how much they even lean here virtually.
I tell you what, I myself do it. I've caught myself definitely doing it before. I know at tracks like Bristol, sometimes my neck will even hurt from just turning so sideways trying to match the banking. So it is always fun to watch. I know, it's always interesting just to see the driver's cockpit area, you know, especially in sim racing. You get to see, you know, we don't have the feels and the outside the sensations of what's going on in the car. We have what's coming through our steering wheel and what's coming through our eyes on the screen and the sounds in our headphones. So really, you know, we don't have all those senses there. So it's interesting to see that even his body, you know, he's turning left with the simulator. His body is willing to lean left to help, you know, turn that car. So it just shows you how connected iRacing has made this sim.
Well, you only threw out a couple of senses. If you want to add another sense to feel, you can go get yourself a ButtKicker from, get yourself a game or two from ButtKicker. If you use our promo code, that's going to be propped up. Hey, I got to say, getting yourself a ButtKicker and a game or two from ButtKicker, it certainly can give you more senses on, instead of just hearing the sounds, why not feel the sounds of the V8 engine or the tires squealing underneath while you're turning? Get yourself a game or two. Use the promo code FreakyFast20 to enhance your gaming here on iRacing and any other simulators. Just hook it up to your racing rig, and away you go. ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing.
Yeah, that was a great segue there, Sam. I tell you what, man. You know, that right there will add a whole different sense into it. Be able to feel the sound, you know, that's something that we don't get to do if we don't have a ButtKicker. So make sure everybody goes checks that out, because that, you know, it definitely does add a whole nother level of immersion into the sim that you can feel. And you know, that's something that iRacing's modeled pretty well too. So we got to give them a shout out for, you know, modeling the system and allow ButtKicker to make a great product like this, where you know, you can really immerse yourselves into the simulator. I mean, man, there's so many different realms of stuff you can do in this simulator. It's mind blowing, and you know, it's just a good time, and it brings everybody together to compare their stuff.
Yeah, and, you know, for real life racers, when the pandemic first started, a lot of IndyCar drivers and stock car drivers always talked about missing the feel of the car and feeling the, you know, the wind and the just feeling everything about the car sensation. A ButtKicker can help you, and as well has helped many of other drivers get this more of a sensation of racing real life cars. And that's what iRacing gives you, the most realistic racing simulator out there on the market. And it is a great way to even get started if you got yourself a racing wheel or even a controller. Get yourself on iRacing at iRacing.com to get your membership started. As we're watching the drivers in the middle of the pack, all racing as hard as they can. Currently on board with the 25, Nate Lynch. Nate Lynch, one of the drivers that really started getting into his own at the end of the season in the Xfinity car, but a little bit of a dash. You saw there Brian Chu get loose. The 25 having to react to get extremely low. But I got to say, this 25 car was so surprising and really surprised us all up in the booth. The way that he was racing at the end of the season in the Xfinity car, I'm excited to see what he's going to bring from the Cup Series. Currently now running in the top 10 in 8th position. And up front for the lead pack, they're starting to dash a little bit all over the place. Zach, our top 5, they're no longer in line. We're going to be seeing some side-by-side racing currently for that at 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Mark Beverly, Cameron Sartine, and there of the 12 Andrew Mellon, 3 wide down the front straightaway. They all sell it out there with the 93 of Beverly going to take the 3rd spot there with Rickard in 2nd. But I tell you, they've definitely been mixing it up a little bit more. I've seen the 13 Cameron Sartine, the one that's really been taking the most chances. They were pulling away from that pack while the other pack behind them was, you know, racing it up with Aaron Hell trying to get up front. But ever since Aaron Hell's got up front in that 2nd pack, they have slowly started to edge that gap in, and especially with them racing like this, it's going to let that gap close down with only 2 seconds in between them now.
Yeah, but I mean, with the fact that their gap was already pretty big, it allows them that buffer for them to try to swap back and forth. I think the drivers that we're expecting and really not make any passes is our front 2, Ken Campbell, that is Scott Rickard. I mean, with the way that this aero package is in this Cup car, it's all about the draft, finding the teammate. And I got to say, Zach, it's nice when you're like Ken Campbell and you've got drivers that are willing to stay behind you and assist you any way possible. As Medlin now going to be dashing it to the low end, as that of Sarton going to be dashing and trying to make his moves as well. But when you're in a position like Ken Campbell, you're just got to race your own race. And no, you got a driver behind you that's willing to block and defend currently. And also, 3 drivers behind, not really being helpful. And that gap is dwindling away, Zach. The more that they race on, that 2nd pack could be 5 laps to 10 laps away from catching up to our leaders.
and they're getting so much closer when they start to battle too back there. They can't let that happen. When you get side by side, you just pull each other back. And I tell you, also when you get in line, these cars have a gigantic bubble in front of them. If you can get right up about a tenth on someone's bumper, they're going to push them forward. And then if you have someone behind you also there, it just creates even more of an energy in the draft. And I think that's why you're seeing this line here catch these guys now, because they're more lined up a little bit, while the front pack kind of guys, front five, are separating. But them top two, you got to give credit to Scott Ricker. I mean, he has not left Ken Campbell this whole race. You would think they're teammates at this point, but they're not.
No, and you hear certain drivers build up allies. Heard a lot of teams saying, "Hey, I got to make a lot of friendships for the Daytona race." Well, those allies sometimes translate throughout the season. Hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours later on. Could be the mindset for these drivers as Ken Campbell stays out front. But Aaron Hale, who we've been riding on board with, gotta say, he's been getting a lot of help, and especially because he's got a lap car in front of him, that of Chris Wade, that was given a lot of boosts for themselves. As we take a look at what the real difference is of these drivers, you see the differences that are being put down lap-wise on who's going to be really gaining on one another. Saw a lot of gaining from Aaron Hale, but that of Medlin currently trying to stay ahead as this lead pack. They're still getting very racy with one another.
Yeah, they really are getting pretty racy here. That was Rickard Filey is not right on the back bumper. He makes a little bit of a mistake there in three. He's going to recover, though. As Sarton, though, he's been really trying to get by the bottom. Here comes the push from Medlin. Maybe he's going to try to help him pass Mark Beverly. Now he slides back up to that top groove. But again, you can look behind Aaron Hill. Again, continuously clicking off lap times faster than Medlin. This pack back here going to definitely close in as everybody up here swapping spots.
They're swapping all over the place, but it can get quite dangerous and also a little bit demoralizing. Zach, you can kind of touch on it a little bit more. We've seen you on Saturday nights racing in the NAISCC Cup Series, running the same exact Cup car, and just running at Michigan and Auto Club earlier this season on Saturday nights here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But give us your thoughts. I mean, running here at these 2-mile courses where the draft is so important, how demoralizing is it when you're trying to be that driver that's trying to get aggressive, make some passes, and you're getting no draft help from drivers on the straightaways?
Well, I'd say if I tell you, you wouldn't want to listen to me during a race while you're driving these things. It is definitely a frustrating experience, to put it least to say. When you're trying to make moves and you just can't get it done, you even can feel like you get the better run through the corner, but the guy on the outside has the draft from the cars ahead of him, and also the side draft not only to equate to that. So it's really thrown a whole different loop into this style racing here. And 2-mile tracks have really changed up personally in the last year or two. So it took a whole different aspect as a driver, really just kind of be patient, wait in line, and when you get that perfect chance, you got to strike in, because if you don't make the pass, you're going to lose 3-4 positions if they're lined up behind you.
Absolutely, as we are still watching the 99 now running in 15th out of Steve Anderson, and in front of Anderson are a couple of other drivers that are making some good runs forward. Timmy McNally, one of our drivers that has been moving up quite well. The 88 we saw at one point was all the way at the end of the line of this race. Now in 11th place, trying to crack the top 10. It's I gotta say, for some of the drivers that have had some misfortunes early on in this race, some have done a great job rebounding, as we are now halfway through the Irish Hills 200.
Yeah, halfway through, and got to give a shout to also Brian Wister. He's kept on board there with Timmy McNally there in the 12th position. So right now, 12 cars separated by only 2.6 seconds. I mean, that is crazy to see after this far of a run. That just shows you what this package produces. I can tell you, you can burn the tires up and still stay within draft range. This is a track where personally it's full bore or nothing. You go 100% from the start of the run down to the very end. There is no tire saving being involved in.
Absolutely not. And as the drivers are coming across the line, starting of lap 52, we now have to start thinking about it. These drivers now within 10 laps from when we're thinking about them coming into pit road for their green flag pit stops. We haven't seen a green flag pit stop just yet, Zach, but how difficult could it be for these drivers that might be all thinking about pushing it as far as they can go fuel-wise and all coming into pit road at the same time?
Well, I think there's going to be some interesting strategies here, Point Sam. This right here, this track with the way the fall off is, it's not as dramatic as what you see on other tracks. You really get to that plateau point where you run the same lap time over and over again a lot quicker than the other tracks, especially when you're within the draft range. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some undercutting here, guys going earlier than we think compared to the other groups, but nonetheless, it's going to be so important to get down to pit road, get the best stop available, because if you lose the draft, you know, it's almost like Daytona Talladega. You got to come down with people. If you come down by yourself and you ride out there by yourself, you're going to be 2, 3, 4 tenths slower every single lap than if you were out there with one other car. So I think if the guys plan it right, come down with their teammates, maybe even plan out an undercut, it could work out for them sakes. But we'll have to see. It's going to be risky business here as we near those pit stops.
Well, as we're watching the drivers currently that are racing for that top 17th position, a driver that was running close to where this group was, who is now going to be 2 laps down, Doug Pierce. We noted on it, don't want to come in by yourself, did so, and came into his box and made a mistake where he missed his box, and now has to come back into pit road, is the 39. So big issues for Doug Pierce, who at this point is going to need a couple of cautions to get back into this race, as drivers that are currently, you know, we see the 39 get back into pit road a little bit earlier than I think a lot of us would like to be placing himself into pit road. But hey, for some drivers, they've got to try some off-ball strategies if they want even a chance to have a good finish at the end.
Yeah, you know, this track here, it offers it up. You know, myself personally, I know that the undercut worked very well. It did seem to allow you to be able to jump people in position-wise and get ahead of track position-wise. And after a while, the tires do seem to start to even out. So the timing of these pit stops is going to be very, very interesting. If you're out here like Ken Campbell leading this pack, if everybody behind you pits without you, they could possibly pull away far enough in that one lap if they all get grouped together. Andrew Medlin in our 4th position, he bounces off the wall. Mark Beverly also takes a slide. It was almost calamity there off the back straightaway.
Our onboard driver, that of Andrew Medlin, going to be having that damage, and that's going to be something like we noted on, no fast repair, so they're going to have to deal with this damage and the loss of momentum. They're going to have to hope that they don't lose the draft of this lead group. And I got to say, for that of Mark Beverly, didn't hit the wall, but got extremely loose, was the 93, but the 12 of Andrew Medlin did clobber that outside wall out of turn 2. So 12 has damage he gets to work with, but luckily has the draft of these drivers that are back in that 10th and 11th place.
And that just shows you in a blink of an eye, you could be running in the top 5 here in Michigan. One little mistake like that, you see how much time is lost by Andrew Medlin. He drops all the way back there to that 12th position, the last car in this pack. And, you know, we talked about the whole time the second pack closing in. Well, Aaron Hell, 1.2 seconds behind the leader. He is now almost within a whole second. Hell has really been doing a great job this race to close it down. And we see him do this in the Xfinity car, so really not a surprise for me here. You know, he could possibly be one that carries over that Xfinity momentum, not getting a win, but I think he could break into victory lane here in this car personally. We'll have to see if he can continue this charge up. Also,
a thing that's going to be helping Aaron Hale was the fact that Mark Beverly and also that of seeing the 93, Mark Beverly, and also seeing Andrew Medlin dispersing from that lead pack, now turning what was a 5-car group that was staying steady and at points pulling away, now down to a 3-car group. And because of that loss of drivers, loss of momentum, Andrew Medlin has officially caught up to when you really get that tow from the draft. Also, Cole Sacchetti going to get in that tow, and everyone else that's in this group, they're about to be making a great charge for themselves. Also, for drivers further back, do want to give note, Dylan Glass and Derek Offerman both officially called it a night. They did so a lot later, but just want to give that note, as up front, it's about to get very racy as we're about anywhere from 5 to 8 laps away from pit road getting busy.
Well, the first group of drivers from that first pit stop there, Sam, is hitting pit road. That is Nick Holland in the 68 here on lap 58. So we'll see how that works out for him. A little bit earlier for sure than what I would have expected, but I think he should be good to make it to the end here. 42 laps on a 90% fuel load. I think it's going to be doable, but it's going to be for sure close for him.
Also, Jason Gratton is going to be the other driver that came into pit road. Both of those going to be going to lap down, so hoping that they don't lose any more ground. There's another pack of drivers into pit road. Dylan Grimm going to be coming down by himself, and Zach, you noted on it, you're going to want to come in as a group, and for everyone that's trickling in 1 to 2 drivers, you're going to be losing time if we see a pack of 6 or 7 come in that are all up front as, oh boy, the 13, very slow, and immediately up to the wall. I think he might be calling coming in pit road, but that was a very abrasive just lockup by the 13 on the entry of turn 3.
Yeah, you know, actually, he was actually trying to make the move for the lead there, Sam. He drove it straight to the bottom and got super, super loose, actually, and just had to correct it and get up the racetrack and lift. And, man, that could have been a big disaster for a lot of guys around there like Aaron Hale, Scott Rickard there. But, man, Hale now up the second with Kid Campbell still holding the lead from Daytona pretty much at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Michigan gives for Ken Campbell. I think for the 15, it is all based off of hoping that when he comes into pit road, it's got to be a perfect pit stop, aggressive in, aggressive out, and no sliding through your pit entry box. It has to be practically perfect to make sure he stays out front, because the 15, ever since he's gotten the lead, he has not thought about giving it back up. He lost it at one moment, and now here comes Aaron Hale in the 4. It's taken him about 20, 30 laps to finally even have a chance for the lead. But coming out of turn number 2, no draft help. The 4 just stalling out side by side. He thought he had a chance, but the momentum is gone, and Scott Rickard is right back to the back bumper of that to 15.
I tell you what, also there you're going to see Cole Sacchetti and Nate Lynch also break themselves up to the top 5. Everybody's spreading out here in 3. Big run for Rickard up top. He's going to push Kid Campbell, but held down low with the help of Sacchetti. This has turned into some great races. We're getting near that pit window for these guys to come down. It's going to be calamity here from the timing, but also these drivers trying to get everything here in the last bit of their tires.
Ken Campbell, he's got to pick the right lane right now. Does he go inside or does he go outside on what lane he thinks is going to get the bigger run to try to block and defend and put that dirty air, as they're still going to be side by side. Sacchetti not close enough to Aaron Hale to really utilize that inside lane with the draft. But right now, the 4 could move up and follow Scott Rickard, try to get a little bit of momentum and then drop down low and hope he's got some draft help from someone behind as well. That of Sarton's going to be getting himself a little bit of a surge here. The 13, after a very aggressive move for the lead that almost caused the big one up front, now he's going to be trying to give a little bit of a push to the 29 down the front stretch.
Yeah, he's looking really, really strong. He had that big moment going for the lead, but he's already got right back up into this battle again as he works the bottom lane. Again, Nate Lynch there in the 25, the 23 or 29 there, Cole Sacchetti there as Lynch dives it out to the inside, but that's going to allow the 13 to get to the outside. Now Nate Lynch going to be going backwards.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pick and choose when you think you're going to be going, and with the style of racing, if you're going to be the driver trying to get aggressive and wants to try to be moving forward, if you've got no help, you're going backwards at some point when your momentum dies out. And now we're going to be starting to lap 64. Drivers getting closer and closer. Zach, you threw it out. Lap 66 could be the window for a lot of these drivers if they want to make sure they can make it on just this next stop.
This is going to get really close to that point. It's going to be looking to be about 30, really about 33 to go, personally, when these guys decide to hit that pit road. Right now, Kid Campbell, I mean, he has defended so many different types of roads. We've seen guys get to the inside, try to make the pass, but it just shows you, as that car out front, if you have the help behind, it's always working out in that driver's favor as long as he can defend that outside and doesn't give up that top.
Yeah, don't give up the top and keep that fresh air. Wherever you put that back bumper, the drivers behind, they're going to be stalling out and having so much tightness on the entry of these corners, and that's going to be hurting a lot of these drivers. As the laps continue to tick away, Ken Campbell, Scott Rickard, Aaron Hale, Cole Sacchetti, also that of Sarton, Lynch, McNally, as well as the 44 Bowling, going to be your top 8 drivers currently in this lead pack. Then you got to fall back by about 2.5 seconds where you find that of Brian Chu, as well as Brian Lynch. Those 2 drivers just going to be cruising along. But we'll fall all the way back to 19th. That of Brian Burchett, going to be the first driver to pit road. And here comes the 15. Oh boy, Ken Campbell going to be having Nate Lynch, and also a little bit of sliding there from the 11 of Chu, as well as Brian Lynch. Surprising to see that the 05 of Scott Rickard did not come in with that of Ken Campbell here, Zach, but our leader gifting up the lead, and they're side by side for the lead up front of those that stayed out.
Yeah, Sacchetti tried to take advantage of that right there as here comes Sarton there to make the move down to the bottom, but man, Rickard there, we've seen him all night long stay in that second position. Now going to finally get up front and lead some laps. But here comes Sacchetti and also the 13 of Cameron Sarton. It's going to be coming down to those 2 here now as they come down 1 lap later. How long will Scott Rickard go with Aaron Hill?
That's the big question. Aaron Hale looking very strong. Also going to be having the 88 Timmy McNally as well as the 44 in this lead group. So you got 4 drivers that could all come in at once. And the drivers that are just coming out of pit road, we know that they're good to make it to the end. But who's going to have the draft help? That's going to be the key thing. As Sarton as well as Sacchetti all coming into pit road, getting service done for the 13 and also for the 29. But here comes Scott Rickard showing low, but will it be pit road stop? He goes back up high, letting the car drift up. It's Timmy McNally showing an entry into pit road.
Same with Kyle Bowling there, also in the 44 machine. He's coming down pit road. So Scott Rickard, Aaron Hell electing to stay out. This is a gutsy call from Rickard and Hell. I tell you what, though, if they can come down together, it's going to work out better than anything. It's just they got to be willing to work together.
You do not want to be making any mistakes. And speaking of mistakes, that'll Trey Jackson in the 31. He's going to be caught speeding on pit entry and now going to be trapped 2 laps down as he exits pit road. You don't want to be making any of those mistakes, and those speeding penalties could be so costly on a good finish here late in the race, as we see that of Andrew Medlin and Travis Dart working with one another, or 2 on-camera drivers that we saw here tonight. As coming into pit road, it's going to be the 209, Travis Dart into pit road by himself.
Yeah, he's going to hit pit road back here from the 4th position, along with, it looks like the 93 there, Mark Bedler coming off of pit road. So multiple drivers here sequencing out. Man, when this all cycles through, it's going to be interesting. We also got to remember that Graham and Holland, they pitted way earlier than the group ahead of them, so we'll see if they come out ahead. But from what I'm looking at, they definitely are still way behind, just due to how much time they lost on the tires.
Yeah, I mean, right now, looking at Ken Campbell and Nate Lynch, going to be your front drivers that are going to be leading the cycle currently, as they are continuing to run as hard as they can. Hale, Scott Rickard into pit road. Hale continues to stay out. Medlin as well. There are last 2 drivers that have to come into pit road here just in a couple of laps, and then we start to do the math on the drivers that pitted way earlier. When will they, or if they can make it to the end, as we're going up to 30 laps to go here for the Irish Hills 200 at Michigan for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. My name's Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, and Zach right now in the middle of the pit cycle, and here comes the 4 into pit road.
Yeah, finally our leader here coming down to pit road. Aaron Hell. Looks like Medlin's still the last one to go. Looks like he'll be coming also in the 12. So this right here should recycle the lead back to Ken Campbell's hands in the 15 machine here. He's going to have a pretty sizable gap back to Nate Lynch and Cameron Sarton. But I tell you what, just the fact that he's going to be one car out here by himself, it's going to be hard for him to be able to not get reeled in by this group here. We'll see what he can do. 1 lap earlier with the pit stop, able to put a good-sized gap. But, man, I tell you what, being a lone car out here, your lap times are probably going to be hurt just a little bit from that.
Oh, man, I'm looking at the lap times currently, and Ken Campbell has done a great job. Yes, he's running by himself, but he's catching up the lap cars at such a perfect timing on the straightaways that it's allowing him to basically feel like he's in a pack during the straightaway runs. This lap, for sure, no assistance for Ken Campbell. This is going to be a good, real sequence, because that last lap, Ken Campbell continued to stretch his lead over Nate Lynch, Sarton, and Bowling. So this is surprising to see, Zach, that Ken Campbell is still looking just as strong. Less than 30 laps to go when the 15 crosses the line.
Yeah, this is impressive to see those lap times popping up on the board right now. So, I mean, he's definitely looking to maybe run there. So, a 40.081 there with no help that time. We'll see what Nate Lynch, a 39.57. So, that time, the first time we really see a true disparity in the lap time between this group of cars and his one car out here by himself. But I tell you what, he's going slower at this rate right here and has good clean air. This right here is actually going to save the tire a little bit. If he can just plan this out perfectly where they don't get too big of a run to go by him when they get there, he can still do the same thing he's done all race and defend out front. He's just going to have to weather the storm when they get there.
Well, Ken Campbell starting to be ran down, as you can see the transition on times. And for us, we're going to step aside for a quick moment. When we come back, Ken Campbell expected to be caught by Nate Lynch, Sarton, and it's going to be less than 20, less than 30 laps to go. The action about to kick up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Stars and Stripes Cup Series. We talked about it. We knew it was coming, and Ken Campbell has been caught. My name is Sam Zire. With me is Zach Hall. Robert Moyer running all the productions here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And Zach, we knew that Ken Campbell couldn't hold off this pack by himself, and he has now been caught. Less than 3/10 is the difference between first and second, and Nate Lynch coming with a head of steam. He might be able to make the pass coming out of turn number 4.
Oh, and I tell you what, Ken Campbell going to catch him in a good spot here, right in the corner of 3 and 4. This is going to help him build his momentum up here as they come off the corner. He should be able to hold on to this. But I tell you what, with less or near 20 to go here, man, this is all we could ask for. 6 cars within a half a second ready to do battle.
And we've seen Nate Lynch slowly marching his way forward in second. We've also seen that of the 13 and Sartin. He's been aggressive at times, getting loose and almost ruining his day in others. We've also seen the 05 of Scott Rickard helping Ken Campbell get the lead position on our most recent restart. And ever since then, Campbell has been leading this race. Then he got the 44, Kyle Bowling, one of our finalists from last season. He's just been running under the radar for last season and doing a very similar thing here tonight. Second race of the season here, Zach, and I gotta say, biggest real rebound for the whole entire race, Timmy McNally caught up in one of our recent incidences in the 88, even with a little bit of damage, running well in 6th place with a shot to possibly get a top 5 finish.
Yeah, he's doing a great job hanging on to this pack here right behind the 13 of Cameron Sartin there, so hanging on strong. If anything happens ahead of him too, he's right within distance to pounce if anything happens, so good look for him there. You know, the driver that was leading the longest and stayed out there the longest too, Aaron Hill, I think he ended up making the wrong call there, Sam. He is now 3.2 seconds back, and I don't see him be able to close that gap if possible.
There's always those gambling drivers that want to undercut or stay out as long as possible. And it always seems to be the drivers that pick right in the dead center that have the best call for themselves, and Ken Campbell doing that perfectly for himself as we see the drivers fanning out. Zach, you were giving me a little bit of pointers here. You were running here in the Cup cars. Why are we seeing these drivers fan out so much through 1 and 2 and not as much through 3 and 4?
Yeah, that's pretty a good example there. We got to see down in 1 and 2. Those drivers fanning out really like that. And then you come down in 3 and 4, you'll see a lot of them follow in line and kind of follow each other and actually run in the upper groove here a little bit. So that's a little surprising for me. But personally, as a driver standpoint, following another car, you lose so much downforce down in 1 and 2. And with the way the corner is made, it just does not turn. So you're going to see a lot of guys looking to run really odd lines here to get any type of air on the nose here down in 1 and 2 to help that car really rotate and turn through the corner. Whereas down at 3 and 4, it seems like the car is a little more balanced with this setup, turns a little bit better. You can follow the driver in front of you a little bit easier. So personally, if anything, you can set up the pass coming out of 2 if you can, get the pass going down into 3. I think that's going to be the way to go here in the final 20. But man, everybody right now, as you can see, high up in 3 and 4, that's going to catch me off guard. I would think 2 guys would be electing to run lower down.
Oh, what a run though by the 05. Run on the back bumper. Our camera can't even handle how much of a bump trap that was. Scott Rickard trying to give Ken Campbell the best boost on the straightaway into turn number 1. And oh boy, the 13 gets extremely loose. Sartin with probably one of the biggest saves of the day and still running straight. Zach, we could have had a big one up front that could have changed everything.
That would have changed the whole complex of the game for sure, but what a save from him, the 13. I mean, that was the second one of the day. That one was a little bit bigger personally, and he was able to keep it straight. So right now, still within gap to the leaders. He's going to have a good shot here. But one thing we can't forget about here, Scott Rickard in that second spot in the 05, he's got much fresher tires. He's got a few laps on these guys that he stayed out longer. He timed it perfectly where he didn't lose the draft, unlike Aaron Hill, who actually is starting to close down with those newer tires. So I got to give him credit. He is reeling it down 2/10 faster than our leader last time.
Yeah, difference in tires between our leader in second place, Scott Rickard, Ken Campbell. Rickard having 4 lap fresher tires than our leader currently. Back in 7th, going to be about 2 seconds back, a little bit more than 2 seconds back. It's this 4 machine of Aaron Hale. Hale going to be having 4 lap fresher tires, so exactly the same as Scott Rickard is that of the 4 and the 05 on when they came into pit road. Then you fall back to that of 8th place. You got Cole Sicchetti, who is doing his best currently, but is over 3 seconds, almost 3.5 seconds back from our leaders and doing his best to run up front as the laps continue to tick away. We're coming up to 15 laps to go. Let's give a little bit of a shout out to one of our final sponsors, of the night. That at Advanced Sim Racing. If you noted on it, you want to get yourself a game or two to enhance your racing, well, why not talk to one of the fastest growing, that of racing sim chassis, as well as one of the fastest sim racing retail stores online in North America, that at Advanced Sim Racing. They can get you anything that you're looking for, from wheels, rigs, and also anything else you need for sim racing. Use the discount code FreakyFast5 to get yourself 5% off at Advanced Sim Racing. And I gotta say, even with Advanced Sim Racing and the guys and how hard these drivers are running, hey, they're only been running, Zach, for about an hour and almost 10 minutes now on track at Michigan. Well, in January, and on the 7th, it's time for that endurance racing. It's going to be our 6 hours at Daytona for that of diabetes, for juvenile diabetes. At that, we're trying to get as many drivers signed up for this. And Zach, what's crazy is we're actually about to be running out of spaces, so you better sign up fast.
Yeah, we definitely are, Sam. But make sure you get on that. Check down in the description below. We have a link to all the event details. You'll find everything there, from the submission form to enter the race, and also the Discord where you can find a lot more info. Ask people such as me about that race, and we can help you out with anything. Get signed up for it. First annual one. It's going to be a special one there on January 7th, man. I can't wait to compete in it, commentate in it. It's going to be a special one for the books for sure at Freaky Fast. And like you said, those spots are closing down very, very soon. And I believe we're already past 23 entries. So that 60 mark closing in pretty quickly with only 3 weeks at it.
Yeah, time's ticking away. We're excited for the event, and we hope for you to be one of the drivers for us to commentate for. So go sign up now. And as the drivers up front, we're getting ready for the final dash. We've got ourselves a total of 6 drivers that are attached to this lead group. And right now, our front two seem to be the heavy hitters. That's Tui McNally, Bowling. They continue to be on top of one another side by side, which this side drafting is causing them to lose a little bit of ground on our front runners.
Definitely losing a little bit of ground, but I don't think they're going to lose too much here once Bowling gets clear of this 88 machine. Timmy McNally is, oh man, here comes McNally again to the inside again. That's going to slow this line down, but
caution!
Boys, caution on the track, man.
Mark Beverly getting the 93, loose out of turn 2, and a yellow flag waves. We're going to be setting them up. We're going to be less than 10 laps to go when we get racing again. Zach, we knew a yellow could change it all. We thought maybe it was going to be 13, but it was drivers in the middle of the pack. Got a little bit too antsy, and we now are going to restack them, and everybody's got one more set left in pit road of tires. As we take a look here at our Freaky Fast instant replay, as it's Nick Holland, Mark Beverly. Beverly just gets clipped by the 68.
I'm not sure if Nick Holland was getting loose there or what was up with that. Looks like definitely some contact between those two there, but man, yeah, Mark Beverly going to come out on the other end of that one.
And man, Mark Beverly certainly was trying his best not to be involved in a wreck and hard racing. These drivers were back for 14th place. And now we're going to be resetting them up front, and everyone comes into pit road. Ken Campbell leading this group into pit road. Into pit road as we take another look at this instant replay. Look out for the 68. They're running straight, and then he just dashes. I think he might have thought maybe he was clear, trying to get behind 83. The 93, excuse me, as fast as possible. Just wasn't able to clear in time, and instead spinning out that of Mark Beverly.
Yeah, just a little inch there between those two there to bring out this caution. And man, this changed everything. We're having drivers hit pit road. Everybody trying to get some fuel and some tires. Ken Campbell there in his box, and you're going to see what type of strategy some drivers got played out. Do we see anybody staying out? I don't think so, though.
No, nobody is going to be staying out. The drivers that did stay out, though, are looking for waiver rounds. Saw that of Kyle McCoy trying to get an extra lap back, but we've got ourselves a total of 23 drivers on the lead lap currently, while we've got a total of 28 still on track running and hoping to finish out this race. 4 drivers have DNF, that of Dylan Glass, Derek Offerman, that of George Kovacic, and Bill Hales. But right now, Ken Campbell, Scott Rick are going to be your front drivers, all taking 4 tires and fuel. And then you've got Kyle Bowling, Tim McNally, excuse me. You got Nate Lynch, Aaron Hale, Brian Chu, that of Sarton, Dart, and as well, Sacchetti going to be your top 10 drivers, all getting repaired. It's going to be less than 10 laps to go when we go green again. Zach, this changes everything because we've seen these drivers get very aggressive in these first 5 to 8 laps on these tires, which means we could potentially be seeing our drivers bringing out another yellow if they're not careful.
Well, Sam, you read my mind. I really feel like we may be seeing another yellow flag fly here at some point before the end of this thing finishes, and wouldn't be surprised to see us go into a little bit of overtime. So that is very, very possible here with coming to 10 to go next time by here, 11 to go this time. I mean, man, we've seen how aggressive everybody's already been. You're going to have to be super aggressive on these restarts here. Is Ken Campbell going to lead us again as we get racked up? This is going to be probably the most critical restart here of the race for these drivers if they want to position themselves for a good finish here. Ken Campbell, he's done nothing wrong all night. Could this be the caution that catches him off?
Well, Zach, yeah, you threw it out. The potential of us going into overtime. If a yellow comes out with less than 5 laps to go, we go into overtime, and there is going to be only one attempt at overtime for these drivers, so we're technically in a spot where we might only see 1 to 2 cautions before this race is over. It matters on the timing of when the yellow comes out, but up front it's going to be that of Ken Campbell, Scott Rickard, Timmy McNally, Kyle Bullion, as well as Aaron Hale going to be your top 5. That of Nate Lynch, Cameron Sarton, as well as that of Brian Chu, Cole Sacchetti, as well as Travis Dart, going to be your top 10 here. Zach, as we're getting ready to roll and about to go green, what are you expected to see here on this restart?
Well, man, I'm expecting to see a lot of drivers taking risks and chances here, possibly even some hurt feelings after this restart.
Well, if you've been waiting all night for racing action, you're about to see some of the best of it. It is the Stars and Stripes Cup Series, race number 2 of Season 4. It's the Irish Hills 200, and it's all here. Thursday night, Freaky Fast Broadcasting Entertainment, and we are green. Ken Campbell, a green lunch for himself, already going to be having about a car length and a half ahead of that of Scott Rickard, and drivers moving up to the high line. Now the question is, what type of run are they going to get out of that of turn number 2?
We've seen Scott Rickard wait all night long in second place, just electing to ride behind Ken Campbell. 10 to go. When does he make his move? Does he get aggressive here? As Bolin makes the aggressive move, and now he dives back to his inside for 3rd. Man, it's all popping off here down to 3.
We're going to be seeing them going 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide, coming out of turn number 4. This straightaway shot is going to be incredible to see, as you're already seeing Hall as well. I mean, Hale and others, they're going to be 3 wide, battling for 3rd place. Up front, it's still single file, but they're seeing a lot of dashing. The 4, Aaron Hale, we saw how patient he could be, waiting for fresh tires. How aggressive is he going to be? We've seen the 13 get loose, but they're loose behind. It's going to be seeing drivers hold on, and somehow we did not see a big one. Should have been a wreck. Could have been a wreck, but we stay green. 9 laps to go, and it's still Ken Campbell leading the way with Scott Rickard behind.
How did Cole Sacchetti hold on to that? The 29, he drops back in position, but what a save from him there in the final 10 laps. Everybody trying to get whatever they can, leaning on the doors and drivers beside him. Right now, though, it's Ken Campbell up front, 8 to go. Can Scott Rickard get around that 15?
It's all about finding the now lie behind you. Will someone follow you in time? The 13 of that of Soren's been one of the drivers has been willing to get very aggressive on these entries, but he's gotten very loose at the same time. You got to be trusting your wheeling skills, and that's what we're going to be seeing a lot of as right behind that of Soren. You're seeing drivers getting side by side, and that's hurting. They're about to be getting too much side draft where they might lose an opportunity to challenge for the lead. 8 laps to go, come to 7 when they cross the line, and Ken Campbell feeling comfortable and confident where he runs. The question is, will Scott Rickard get any help to try to make a pass, as they're still 2, 3, 4 wide at times further back, as right now the 33 and others, they're willing to make some daring moves, but they're a little bit too far back if they even want a shot for the win.
Yeah, so Aaron Held drove it into turn 1. He's going to try to slide him in front of Kyle Bolin. It's not going to get it done. He's going to be stuck on the inside here as that outside line trains by him. I tell you, we talk about teammates and how the teamwork is going to work. Scott Rickard got his teammate Kyle Bolin directly behind his second. Are they waiting the time to move together? But I tell you what, can't wait for too long. Dylan Grimm in the 23. He's making his way up through the field.
Where has he been all race long? Dylan Grimm came out, made the final 4. Very surprised to see the DoorDash machine make the playoffs at moment. one at Indianapolis, one at other courses where you thought maybe it wasn't going to be possible. But the 23, he's making some moves. He's up to 4th. And now the question is, will he have enough help? Because we haven't seen our top 3 really be making any moves currently. It seems to be a waiting game. It's everywhere from 4th on back that are willing to make some big moves.
Oh, man, Nate Lynch back here 3 wide along with Brian Lynch and Brian Burchett. They're all racing back here for around 12th and 13th. Everybody from 13th on, or 12th on up is battling for position. What a race we got with 6 to go.
The caddy and also our pole sitter as they're wrecking. Oh no, it's going to be the 13, the 4. We stay green as they're all on the bottom in the grass. And here comes Hale getting back on course. But the big wreck at the back of the front pack does not bring out a yellow. That was all off-course incidences. Zach, that is so demoralizing for the drivers that needed that yellow to get back into this race.
Yeah, they definitely needed that yellow, if anything, to come out for him. But Sartzen also, the 13, he made contact in the back of the 88 there to cause that, and he got sent down pit road, so he lost out in all that deal. Also, man, what a crazy change of events here. We coming to 4 to go. Ken Campbell up front, Scott Ricker in 3rd, Kyle Bowling actually just losing position down to Dylan Grimm as Ricker will try to give his teammate the draft down the front straightaway.
And as they're slicing the dice and back and forth, watch out for the drivers in 5th place. The 11 of Brian Chu starting to get a little bit of that draft from the side-by-side racing for 4th position. Might be seeing the 11, the 33 of Burchett. Also the 25 of Nate Lynch. Lynch fell all the way back to 14th. Then that giant collection of drivers and the incident happened. Now going to be moving up to 7th with a chance here for that of Chu. He's caught up. 4 laps to go, Zach. If a yellow happens, we go into overtime as they come out of turn number 4. Ken Campbell, Scott Rickard, your front 2, and they have not left where they've been running for the past about 10 laps. They have not changed positions.
Oh, they had not one bit. I tell you what, Scott Ricker, he's been so close to the back bumper of the 15 so long during this race. With 3 to go, he's going to need to help his teammate Kyle Bowling here if he wants to make something happen as they round out of 2. Bowling a little too far back. Campbell with a nice gap here. Ricker going to have to try to make something happen here in the final 2 when they come to the start-finish line.
It's that bubble. It's been so difficult to get by. Scott Rickard's been on the bumper, but he's going to duck a little bit lower, trying to gain a little bit more speed, lessen the track. And now going to get a massive run. He's going to be at the quarter panel trying to side draft that of Ken Campbell. Campbell, though, got such a good run. He still holds on side by side, but they all drop down low. Great move from Kyle Boylan to be given the draft to that of Scott Rickard. Just the bumper ahead, side by side through 1 and 2. 2 laps to go. Ken Campbell finally being pressured, and Scott almost making the pass. But out of turn 2, here comes the 15 with a 0.5. Scott Rickard, he needs some draft help and gets none of it.
And man, he had the move almost done down into 1. Looked very good down here in 3 and 4, running that bottom line. We'll see if they can make it happen. One more chance down to the bottom, and we'll be coming to that white flag, Sam.
Scott Rickard maybe not have to make the full pass. Gives a great bump draft to the 15. Come into your freaky fast white flag coming across the line. This is it. They're racing it to the end. Ken Campbell, Scott Rickard. Who's going to get the drafting help on the back stretch? Or will the 0.5 have to make a last-dairy move out of turn number 4? Coming out of turn 2. Here comes Scott Rickard to the high line. Get as much momentum as possible. Not close enough. It's the 44 behind. Zach, it's going to be just a one-on-one going into turn number 3.
Here he goes to the bottom. Can he make it work here, Sam? The 05 of Scott Rickard, he tried all night long to get this lead. He's going to have it out of here in turn 4. Can Campbell come back?
Will there be contact out of turn number 4? Here comes the 15. Ken Campbell gets bumped, gets tapped again, and the 15, 2 in a row. Ken Campbell wins again by 33 thousandths of a second.
What a drive by Ken Campbell, just domination again out here after coming out down Daytona with the win. He's going to start the season with 2 in a row. I mean, 3 in a row if you count the season preseason race. I mean, what a start for Ken Campbell, and what a drive for Rickard there. He almost made it work.
Every season they've changed vehicles, and it's either been that of Kyle McCoy or Scott Rickard. We get into the Cup cars, the Gen 6 Cup cars, and Ken Campbell is dominating. The 15 wins again. He won last week at the Daytona 200. Well, now he can notch that of the Irish Hills 200. Ken Campbell holds on. Scott Rickard did everything he could besides wrecking the 15. It just wasn't enough. Ken Campbell gets to the start-finish line and now gets to burn it down in front of all the Michigan fans. And man, Zach, What a move by Scott Rickard, but just wasn't enough.
Was it enough? You're exactly right, Sam. He dives to the bottom, thinking that time he had it done. He was a nose ahead, but just perfectly placed was the 15 right to the quarter panel, coming off the exit of the corner, able to side draft that 05 back. The 05 tries to pull a little bit of that tactic too, makes a little contact, makes it closer, but isn't able to get it done.
Man, what storylines to talk to. Dylan Grimm stayed quiet for most of the race, gets a top 3 finish. Scott Rickard waited until the last 2 laps and was not close enough to make the pass. And Ken Campbell, wow, 2 in a row, and is the only driver that has won so far this season. Who's going to stop him? We'll find out if it's next week. But before tonight's over, we got to talk to our top 3. Dylan Grimm, Scott Rickard, Ken Campbell. We'll be back in just a few for our post-race show. What a finish here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Once again, Stars and Stripes. They did it a lot last season where we had fantastic finishes, and we did it once again here tonight. Race number 2 of Season 4 for the Cup Series, and it is what a race it was. The Irish Hills 200, won by Ken Campbell. I've got to dip us away, but Zach Hall going to give you the rest of the call, and we're going to start things off with third place runner Dylan Grimm. Zach, it's all on you.
Yes, it is, Sam. You have a great time, buddy, and we'll catch up next time with the booth, everybody. But now we're going to move on to his post-race interviews, like you said, and it's going to be Dylan Grimm, our third place driver. What a drive it was for him to get back up to third here in the closing laps. Hey, Dylan, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
I got you.
Well, I tell you what, Dylan, man, what a rebound it was for you, man. Getting caught up early in this race with some nose damage with an incident up ahead of you. You have to pit early and use a little bit of different strategy, man. But that end caution there comes back to play in your hands. And, man, what a drive it was for you there in the final 10 laps, man. What a roller coaster of a race for you, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I got some damage there. That caution came out, and I had to stay out because we only had 3 sets of tires, so it altered my strategy. But yeah, that last caution there saved me, and with 12 laps to go, I was able to go from 16th to third. So was a real good 12 laps.
Yeah, it definitely was, man. A great 12 laps to close it out for you here at the end of the race, man. To get up to this top three positions, we've seen a lot tonight. It was tough to pass if you were trying to go to the bottom. How patient and how methodical did you have to be there to position yourself in the right line? Because it seems like if you weren't in the right line, you definitely weren't going forward.
Yeah, I just tried, especially on that last run there. I just tried to get out to the outside of all the cars and side draft them, and just train around them because that top lane was just so dominant.
Well, man, you were definitely able to use that to your advantage there late in the going to get yourself up to third here, Dylan. Congrats on that third place finish here tonight, man, in Michigan. Before we let you get out here and go get prepared for Atlanta next week, anybody want to send a shout out to, buddy?
Yeah, I want to shout out Nate and everyone who puts on this league. I want to shout out you guys for doing a great job up here in the booth. Any of my family watching out there tonight, and my team GRR.
Well, man, I tell you what, congrats on the top three finish here tonight, Dylan. We'll catch you in Atlanta next week, buddy. Hopefully, again, talking to you once more in the booth.
Yep, hopefully I can see you guys next week.
All right, everybody. That was Dylan Grimm, your third place driver here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the Stars and Stripes Racing League. What a finish it was here tonight for him at Michigan. Now we're going to pull up the driver who just came up short 32 hundredths of a or 32 thousandths of a second short here tonight at the Michigan International Speedway. Man, he rode his second for majority of the night, tried to make the late move, and just came up a little bit short. Let's talk to Scott Rickard in this 05 machine. Hey, Scott, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, I do.
Well, man, I tell you what, a great race again from the 05 here, man, to start out the season. Race number 2. You come out here tonight after qualifying the 4th position. It seemed like most of the night you were stuck to the back bumper of that 15 and was very patient, man. Take us through that because it seemed like you were waiting for that right moment to make your moves here tonight.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't try to make the move and then fall way back from it. I knew if I just sat behind him, nobody's going to really be able to pass us the entire time up to then.
Yeah, definitely a great methodical move there from you to keep yourself in, reaching distance of that win here all tonight here, battling all the way down to the end with Ken Campbell. Like you said, you didn't want to make the move too early to slot yourself back, but you make the move here in the final 2 laps and you got so close to pulling it off, man. Is there anything you think you could have done to make it work a little differently, or did you need a little bit of help?
I probably need help. I did everything I probably could have that I know of.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you did a good job nonetheless to get that close. And look, it was very tough to get past that leader tonight. And King Campbell was definitely flying out there for sure in the 15 man. But next week, we head off to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The first, I would say, this track, even though it is a 2-mile intermediate track, it is very much similar, I would say, to Daytona, the way it's going to race with this package. But Atlanta going into next week, how you feeling about going in there with the little bit more tire fall off?
Oh, loving it. Especially since there's going to be lanes, since you got lanes at Atlanta. Even more so than than they actually had here for once.
Yeah, definitely going to be fun to see those multi-lanes come into work there at Atlanta, and we'll see who can pull it off there, man. Well, I'll tell you what, Scott, great run for yourself, man. Before I let you get here, as always, anybody want to send a shout to?
For everybody at the team and my dog.
Well, buddy, I tell you, congratulations on second. We'll catch you next week in Atlanta. Hopefully one spot better.
Yep, see you then.
All right, everybody. That was Scott Rickard, your second place driver here tonight at the Michigan International Speedway. What a drive it was for him. Well, we're going to talk to now the back-to-back winner, Ken Campbell, here after opening Daytona up with a season opening win. He comes here to Michigan and reenacts it. So let's hear from the 15 who drove a dominating performance here tonight. Hey, Ken, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
I got a copy.
Well, I tell you what, man, what better way to start the season than with 2 wins, my friend. A dominating performance here tonight, controlling the lead from the very beginning and never letting go of it, man. I just take us through this performance here tonight, man, because we see you at Daytona perform very well. You won the first 2 races of the season. We say back-to-back wins, but I guess you could say 3 in a row wins technically with the shootout. So, I mean, could it have started any better this season for you here at Michigan?
Yeah, I mean, it really couldn't, and it's so far beyond what I was expecting. I knew going into the Cup cars, I was going to be a little bit better, and I'd put in a little more practice during the off season, so I was feeling really good about it. But I mean, damn, these guys are fast, and so I knew I was going to have to bring my A game, and luckily everything just lined up perfectly. I knew with the draft package and with Michigan that track position was going to be the most key thing. And so I really practiced on getting a good quali in. Got that looked up, got the high line right off the gate or right out of the bat. So that was good. And then it's just defend the high line at that point. Just stay smooth, keep the tires on it, and defend the high line. And it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely did work out, man. Able to get that win here tonight again in Michigan, putting your second one here for the regular season in the first two races. It's got to feel great to check the first two off. And, Scott Ricker there, he was so patient all night. He rode right behind you in that second spot. He waited till the very last moment to try to make that pass, man. And it was so close between you two coming down to the end, able to get that side draft back on him coming out of 4 and make the run down to the end. And even a little bit of contact from him to your door, able to slow you down, but you able to pull it off. I mean, take us through those nerve-wracking moments because, I mean, even him, he had his teammate behind him. Did you think there was possibly something going to set up between them? Or, like you said, defending that outside was the most critical part of that ending?
Yeah, I knew he had his teammate behind him, and I was giving him the inside a little bit, just defending. But the plan the entire time was once he goes low, kind of go down and pinch him as much as I can. Scott's a fantastic fast driver. I know he's going to hold that bottom and not come up into me, which really allowed me to come down and not be scared to pinch him. And so I just did as much as I could and looked out and got the run off the corner after that. And yeah, from there, I mean, it's just checkers at that point. There's not a whole lot he could do, but I mean, he did the only thing he could do, and he almost pulled it off at that on the inside. So props to him. He ran a fantastic race, and Dylan as well. I mean, everybody just ran a great race, and it was nerve wracking the entire time. I can tell you that it was not one of those set it on cruise control and just ride around for 100 laps. I was nervous the entire time. Team, we were going back and forth talking about different stuff the entire time, strategizing, and so it was definitely a nerve-wracking 100 laps.
I can only imagine, man. Definitely it is nerve-wracking looking at mirror constantly around this racetrack, man. So congrats on that second win here to start off the season, man. We head off to Atlanta, though, next week. A little bit different change of pace here, a little bit more abrasive racetrack, probably a little more tire fall-off. How you feeling as we head off into Atlanta?
I really like Atlanta. It's one of my favorite tracks, to be honest. Haven't run it a lot in the Cup car, so I don't know how dominant like the high line is going to be versus low line. Because I typically run the low line, so we'll have to do some practice and see. But I'm really looking forward to Atlanta.
It's going to be a fun time for sure, Ken. Well, man, congrats on that win here tonight at Michigan. Before we let you get out here and go celebrate with the team, man, anybody want to send a shout to?
Yeah, as always, thanks to my wife and kids. They are fantastic, supporting me in my sim racing adventures. Thanks to Nate and Derek for putting on the league. Nate, Mike, and Chris on my team. We do a lot of strategizing back and forth and going over stuff the entire race. My sponsors, Campbell's and Auburn University, and you guys for putting on a great broadcast.
Thank you very much, Ken. You have a great night, man. Go celebrate this win, and we'll catch you in Atlanta. See if you can go for 3 in a row, buddy.
Thanks, guys. War Eagle.
All right, everybody. That was your race winner here tonight of Ken Campbell here at the Stars and Stripes Racing Cup Series. What a night it was for him to get race win number 2 of the regular season and race win number 3 really of this season after winning the Bud Shootout also. So, man, congrats to that guy. He has been on somewhat of a roll as we're going to be looking to pull up our race results here tonight and see where your favorite drivers finished out the race here for the Michigan 200. As Ken Campbell, there you can see, brought home the victory. Second place going to go to Scott Rickard. Third is going to go to Dylan Grimm. Fourth place going to go to Kyle Bowling. Fifth is going to be Nate Lynch. Sixth going to go to Brian Chu. Seventh is Brian Burchett. Eighth place is going to be Brian Lynch. Ninth is Travis Dart. And rounding out our Freaky Fast, top 10 is Cole Sicchetti. As we look through the rest of the field, definitely some drivers who had some tough nights. Look at really Chris S3, our pole setter, dropping back. Mark Beverly running top 5. He finished 11th. Nick Holland back there in 15th. Cameron Sargent, he was battling all the way down to the end there back in 18th. Really a lot of guys there in the end, really out of place. And even Kyle McCoy, our champion from last season, having a tough night back in 26th. So really all over the place with the race results here tonight at Michigan as we close it out up here. It's been such a fun time up in the booth. Me and Sam definitely got our money's worth down there in the final 10 laps. It was such a blast to call. Ken Campbell holding off to win his second race of the season, and we cannot wait to head off to Atlanta next week here at the Stars and Stripes League, where it's going to change up a little bit. I think we could see some new drivers possibly place themselves in a new realm and see some new people possibly up in that top of the leaderboard, as it's a different style track. So we'll definitely have to watch as all season continues along here in the Cup cars. We watch the ebbs and flows of drivers finding their momentum. The one driver we for sure who started this season off with some momentum is Ken Campbell. Is what a night it was here for him at Michigan, as we'll look to go to Atlanta next week. But we're going to send it up to our producer, Robert Moore Jr., to close out tonight's broadcast, as it was a fantastic one, and here he is.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Had the dart here right after the broadcast. Thank you, Zach. Great calling, great action-packed. These guys don't let anything down, man. They show some hard racing here every Thursday nights with Stars and Stripes. If you're interested in joining the league, make sure you look them up, Stars and Stripes, on iRacing's league portal page. Submit your application, and they would be more than willing to talk to you and see to get you in and run with these guys. See if you can do with anything with this Ken, man, because he's on a roll right now. Like he said, he was okay in the Xfinity cars, but man, oh man, this guy's just showing the speed right now. So we're heading into Atlanta next week, like you said, Zach, and these guys got to figure something out how to beat this guy. And Atlanta is a tough track. It's an eating tire track, multiple grooves, slipping and sliding, and they always have the nickname Hot Atlanta. So we'll have to see what the weather plays out too. Is it going to be a cool day? Is it going to be a hot day? And that will all tell too how guys have to drive that track. But well, congratulations again to Ken getting back-to-back wins here, and thank you to Stars and Stripes for letting Freaky Fast be part of the racing and the league, and hopefully everybody out there enjoyed tonight's content here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you are the first time here, you know what to do. There is on YouTube, there is a bell, well, not a bell, but subscribe, and you can also like this stream. It helps us out and helps algorithms out, ladies and gentlemen. It really does on YouTube. It gets the eyes on us. So if you don't mind, don't hit that subscribe button and bell button. But also there is a share button there. Make sure you share it to your friends. It's your favorite social media platform of your choosing. It's up to you. But we won't be live for our next televised broadcast. We are off until Sunday at 7:50 with Sim Racing Unleashed as they take on Talladega. It's going to be a special event for that, as they had one of fellow drivers have an incident, and the race is going to be named for him, and all donations that we raise here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and Sim Racing Unleashed will go to help his wife and kids and family and medical bills. But make sure you tune in at 7:50 on Sunday. But everybody, have a great Friday. Don't work too hard. Get ready for your weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. But we will catch everybody on Sunday night with Sim Racing Unleashed. But until then, we want to say here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and everybody out there, God bless you. Love yous all. Peace out.